there are many different ways you can participate in that. That there are many different ways you can participate in that. One possibility is that you could go out and try to evolve our social structures. Another possibility is that you could work to improve people's consciousness of their impact on the environment. Another way we could evolve would be to improve technology that increases efficiency or reduces waste. Or we could come up with thousands of ways that we could all participate in evolution. But in a spiritual sense, and at the level of consciousness, when we talk about participating in evolution, particularly what I'm pointing to is the possibility that human beings can awaken to the very impulse of evolution itself. That the whatever we want to call it, the cosmic surge that gave birth to this entire universe, the evolutionary, the creative energy that's coursing through this whole event, that impulse is in fact none other than our own nature. That at the deepest level, it's who and what we are. And that it's possible to awaken to the evolutionary impulse so deeply that we become aligned with it. We become an agent of evolution. We become the way through which this thrust toward ever higher orders of the good, the true, and the beautiful, of increasing positive complexity, of higher orders of unity, that thrust can begin to animate us, can begin to live and move through us, that in a sense we become agents of that, partners in the evolutionary process at the highest level, participating in this great work of evolving consciousness. So if you get the sense of what I'm pointing to, you can perhaps see that this is, in its essence, a spiritual process. It's a process of submission or surrender of our small personal agendas, our petty fears, concerns, needs, in service to a greater cosmic will or evolutionary imperative towards higher potentials, that there's something we have to leave behind in order to allow something new to come forth. And so for any of us who align with this call to be an evolutionary in whatever way, and who want to participate in it on a spiritual level, the question becomes, how do we make room for this to happen? How do we allow such an extraordinary leap or shift in consciousness to occur? And there are many answers to that question, but one of them, and the one I want to focus on here, is meditation. Because even though this evolutionary impulse is none other than our own highest self, it's none other than our own true nature, or at least one aspect of our true nature. For most of us, most of the time, it's obscured from view. It's not something that we have direct access to. It's not something we feel connected to. It's not something we experience as the prime mover of our life. It's an exciting idea. It's an inspiring possibility. We get energized when we think about being a participant in evolution or awakening to the evolutionary impulse, but it's as though we're in a different stream. One way of thinking about this evolutionary impulse is that it's a current, it's a river, it's a stream, a flow that's moving through the cosmos. It's moving through every moment. It's moving through this moment. It's moving forward. It's moving upward. But it says, and even though that's closer than close for all of us, for most human beings, most of the time, it's as though we're in a parallel stream and we're being carried along by the current of habit, of human conditioning, of eons of momentum, of unconsciousness, of ignorance, of reactivity, tendencies to be self-concerned, to be worried about ourselves and our immediate family and friends, or our tribe, or our country, or some smaller circle of concern than this domain of ultimate concern. So there's this stream of human conditioning, of human habit that's carrying us all along, and then there's this other stream, the flow of creative evolution that's right here, but generally obscured from view. And so the role meditation can play in this is that meditation is an opportunity to stop participating in the old momentum, in the old habit. It's an opportunity every day, every time we do it, to step out of that old stream, out of that stream that's been going for eons, building momentum. It's an opportunity to simply disengage from that. And when we do this long enough, consistently enough, deeply enough, there's the possibility that we just might make room for the energy and intelligence of the cosmos to begin to awaken within us, to move through us, to animate us, to become our true home. So you see, I'm not suggesting that we should meditate on the evolutionary impulse. Now, that's its own type of practice. There are all kinds of practices we can do to awaken the evolutionary impulse directly, to get to know it, to work with it, to begin to align with it in daily life. Those of you who've taken my 9-week course, my Integral Enlightenment course, know that I spend a lot of time on practices like that. Those are off-the-cushion meditation, off-the-cushion spiritual practices. They're things we do in life. But you see, the possibility in meditation is not that we meditate to try to find the evolutionary impulse or try to activate the evolutionary impulse. The beauty and the power of meditation is that by simply ceasing to react to the 1,000 triggers, the 1,000 habitual triggers and reactivity of our conditioned body-mind, by just stepping out of the stream or off the wheel of becoming for a brief period every day, that something else just might begin to show up in that space. That we might begin to create an opening for this greater reality to reveal itself and begin to lead. We might even discover that we are that cosmic power, that wisdom, that love. And if we have the humility, we might surrender to it and let it take the reins. So this is why meditation is so important for evolutionaries. If we want to make room for the impulse of evolution to begin to drive our lives, we have to practice getting out of the way. And making space. So today I'm going to lead us in a meditation experiment in doing what I've been talking about, stepping out of the momentum of our unconscious past, ceasing to participate in the reactivity of the ego. And just a couple of brief pointers on the meditation before we dive into it. It's important with meditation because of everything I just shared, but because meditation requires us to completely set aside our normal conditioned patterns and our normal ways of judging everything and trying to control everything. It's very important that we leave at the door of meditation, which is where we are now. We're about to step through the door into meditation. So at the door, it's important that we leave behind any attempt to get it right. Any idea that we're going to measure our progress during the meditation and that we're trying to do it right and worried about doing it wrong. So we just all together now leave that behind. So that means that in each moment of the practice, all we're doing is we're just trying it out. We're just trying it. We're just trying. We're just working with it. It's also important that we don't have expectations of a particular kind of experience. You know, some of us have had powerful meditation experiences or spiritual experiences, and we're sitting in meditation trying to make that happen again, trying to have that special experience. Or we've heard about or read about experiences, and we think that everything would change if we could have that special spiritual experience, which is just another form of grasping after something, which is what the ego loves to do. The ego loves the posture of, my experience right now is not enough. I need to have a better experience. Let me go try to have that. That's like the ego's favorite place to live. So not sure if you're hearing all the sirens in my background. I'm sending a blessing to whoever's in distress. So we relinquish expectations of any kind of experience, which goes hand in hand with not trying to do it right. And also, it's natural when we're doing meditation practices to find that at times we've stopped doing the practice and become distracted by something else. In our highly distracted, distractible, multitasking, hyper-communicated world, we're we spend a lot of our time getting distracted, don't we, by one thing or another. So it's natural when we sit down to meditate that tendency to get distracted, to have our attention wander onto something else happens. And the key in terms of how to relate to that without worrying about that we're doing it wrong and making a problem out of it, the key is to just continue practicing. Don't give any energy to trying to figure out why you became distracted. Just let it go and continue your practice. From the moment that you realized you weren't practicing, you just continue. You don't try to get back somewhere that you were. You just continue the practice, the moment of consciousness, and you continue. That's it. Okay. So I want to invite you now to find yourself a comfortable meditation posture that ideally has you sitting upright, but also that you can maintain for about 20 minutes without moving around. So see if you can get into that. In about 20 minutes, I'll just invite you to shift positions and to sustain your physical comfort. And then we'll meditate a bit more. And you can do this with your eyes open or closed. If you do it eyes open, just allow your gaze to rest somewhere easefully, looking down at some spot in front of you. So the practice we're going to do today is a practice of making room for all of our experience in this moment. It is a practice of embracing everything, including everything. And one of the things that drives our habitual reactivity, our enslavement to the ego, is a deep conviction that this moment as it is not enough. That this experience I'm having right now is not the ideal experience. That there's something about this moment that's not right. It's a fundamental sense of lack, of insufficiency, of inadequacy. And it extends to ourself, how we see ourselves, lacking, insufficient, inadequate, imperfect. And it extends to how we look at reality as a whole, life, circumstances. Something's always wrong. which has us on an endless path of trying to fix it. And what if right now, in this moment, we all stopped trying to change this moment? So I want to invite you now to become aware of your experience. Let's first turn our attention toward the body. What are you feeling physically right now? Any sensations? Just let everything you're physically experiencing be as it is. Just embrace this body as it's occurring right now without any insistence that it should be different. Any battle you're in with your body, just lay down your arms. Just let the body be as it is. Let it feel the way it feels. And become aware of what's happening at the level of emotion, of feeling. What emotions are present right now? You don't need to label them as much as feel them. Just let yourself emotionally feel the way you feel. Often it's a combination of things. Because we all have a lot going on in our lives. So there's a lot of emotions swirling around under the surface. Some things we're happy about, some things we're disturbed, distressed about, some things we're in grief about. So by just letting that whole world of emotion be, we're including it and embracing it in this moment, without any idea that we should have a different emotional experience right now. And notice what's happening at the level of mind, of thought. Often when we sit to meditate, we're desperately trying to calm down our mind. The invitation here is to just let the mind be. If you have a busy, active mind, let that be. If you have a quiet mind, let that be. If disturbing thoughts arise, you let those arise. If you have exciting, creative thoughts arise, you just let those arise too. But the key here is we don't get involved in thought. We don't get involved in the mind. We realize we are not the mind. We are not our thoughts. Thoughts come and go of their own accord without any action on our part. And so in meditation, we just let thought come and go. We don't pick it up. So I'm going to give us some time to just sit quietly with this practice. And the key practice invitation I want to extend to you for this period of silence is just make room for everything. Just include everything without reacting to it, without trying to change it. Just allow the entire human experience to happen. And particularly, notice the tendency to turn away or push things away. And just keep including, keep allowing, keep opening and making more room for even this experience, even that feeling, even those thoughts, the whole world arising as it is right now. making room for it all without judgment, without insistence that it should be any different than it is right now. I want to invite you now to just take 1 minute to shift positions, stretch your body a little bit. Just give your body whatever it needs to be able to sit for another 15 minutes. And as we settle back into our meditation posture for this next 15-minute meditation period, I want to invite you to, if you've been meditating with your eyes closed, to now try meditating with them open. And if you've been meditating with your eyes open, to try meditating with your eyes closed for this next period. I never recommend that people kind of open and close their eyes during the same meditation period because it gives us too much to think about. Should I open my eyes or close my eyes? And who's deciding and why? But varying it a bit, particularly after we've had a break like this, can be a good thing because it keeps our experience shifting and changing, helps us avoid getting stuck in a little rut. It's very easy to get into meditation ruts of all kinds. I won't give a talk about that now, but having shifted that, see what it's like for this next period. So I know some of you by now are wondering, well, okay, I get all this, but what am I doing for my meditation? Right? Some of you are like, well, what's the meditation? What am I supposed to do? Am I supposed to focus on my breath? Am I supposed to focus on my third eye? Should I be chanting a mantra? Because we've been taught that meditation involves some repetitive activity like that. So just understand that this approach to meditation is a very non-dual approach to meditation. It's a very open approach to meditation. It's not about a repetition of any activity. See, what we're really practicing here is we're practicing being awake and at ease. We're practicing, if you think about, and this is really what the essence of this whole approach to meditation, which is really, you could argue that from one point of view, it's the essence of spiritual awakening or awakened awareness, is being fully conscious, fully present, fully awake to this moment, right? That's the truth component of awakening. It means I am always facing reality completely as it is. I am naked before the truth. I am here for this moment as it arises, with no defense against the moment, no rejection of experience. I'm 100% here now for what's happening. And I am utterly at ease in the face of it. Not only am I here for it, but I'm not braced against it. I'm here and I'm open and I am fluid. I'm allowing reality to flow through me, and I'm allowing myself to flow with reality, which means to move and change, to be moved, to be changed, to be taken somewhere by life. To be in the center of the current, swept along without resistance by a deeper flow, a deeper current. So that's what we're practicing here. When you sit in your meditation practice like this, including everything, embracing everything, it means you're letting your experience keep changing without reacting to the changes, because experience always changes. Even just sitting in meditation, feelings change from moment to moment, sensations change from moment to moment, the content of the mind keeps changing. Ideas pop up, memories pop up, concerns pop up. We're just allowing it all to happen without rejecting any of it, without reacting to any of it. We're making room for the entirety of the human experience to show up. Fearlessly, vulnerably, raw, undefended. So let's continue with that.
Thank you. We'll be taking a 15